you're going to need between 3 and 8 letters of recommendation for these awards. So 3 to 8 letters of recommendation, that can sound kind of intimidating, but break it down a little bit. You make it a goal to get to know one professor really well each semester. All of a sudden you add up the semesters and oh yeah, you've got a reasonable number of people.
A great way to maintain connections with faculty is to take a second course. Now that second course will be an upper level course. So if you've done a great job in that first course you took with the faculty, you could go to her, if you see that she's teaching a graduate seminar, you could go to her and say, you know, I think I'd like to try taking your graduate seminar.
Work on an independent study with a professor. You can work with your college, work with your honors deans, and organize things for the department. Start a speaker series. Think about how could my department, how could my major be better? And work with these people to make these things happen. You're going to get to know people on this campus in a much better way than you otherwise would. And beyond that, you're going to help make our campus a better place. That works out well for everyone.
To develop a closer relationship with a faculty or a boss is to invite him or her to have coffee. It's a nice way to get the conversation out of the classroom, out of the office, out of the laboratory, into a different setting. And you may find that you have a quite different kind of conversation with that person if you're sitting in a coffee house.
The 20% of the time they're spending in the classroom. The rest of the time they're working on research, and oftentimes they have opportunities for undergraduates to assist them in that. So my suggestion is take a look, if you haven't done this yet already, go through the website in your department or in similar majors, read over the profile of what professors are doing. Take a look at read the last article that they've written when you find those that are interesting to you, and then approach them and say, hey, I read this article that you wrote, I looked at this piece you performed, I'm really interested in your work, and I'd like to find a way to help out. Now sometimes this is strictly volunteer, you show up 5 hours a week and get your foot in the door. Oftentimes there are students who can receive academic credit. You get an independent study course for working on research with a professor. Every once in a long while, they've got a grant or something they can pay you. That's not something to count on. Really what you're looking for is the experience. You're going to get to know that faculty member much better in a one-on-one relationship or in a small group as part of a research team than you ever would sitting in a large classroom.
Give yourself a goal of making contact with one professor per semester, so that at the end of your junior year, you should have 6 meaningful, deep relationships with faculty. Now that's not easy, but it is a good goal that requires you every semester to look back at the faculty that you met the previous semester and continue building that relationship. Go to her office hours, write him an email, make that connection. 6 faculty is a lot. It's maybe more than you think you need for letters of recommendation, but it's a good baseline to have, and it's actually a challenge for you.
So there's so much going on in the University of Illinois campus that you need to make sure that you're aware of what those things are. Make sure that you're on the listserv from your department, from your major, when you find out about speaker series going on. Think about where are these professors that you're supposed to be getting to know, where are they at? They're going to all the things that you're probably like, oh, speaker is providing an overview on this topic, or like, oh, I can do that, or I can go hang out with some friends. Hopefully every once in a while you go to some of those things at your department, and who's going to be there? It's going to be a bunch of professors, and oh, you're going to run into them, and then you're going to have something to talk to them about in office hours. You're going to be able to talk to them there, and then later on when they're writing letters of recommendation, they're going to remember that and say, oh, it's one of the only undergrads who is showing up to these things. This person's really interested in learning. And you get to learn about all the cutting edge stuff. Nobody's coming to campus and giving talks about old news. It's all about what's happening right now. And you as a leader in your field, that's the kind of information that you want to be working on. Here's an example of a couple different letters of recommendation. The first one, Johnny was a good student in my class. Johnny got an A, showed up every day, did his homework. Good student, hope he gets the scholarship. Okay letter. Second letter, Megan was a student as a freshman in my course. She stood out in the discussion section where she always brought really insightful pieces to the classroom. She later took my class as a junior, and I saw how much she'd advanced since then. She worked with me on an independent research project. She started her senior honors thesis junior year. she's doing amazing things. She's going to be presenting at this next whatever conference. And of the students that I've worked with in the last 15 years, Megan is in the top 2% that I've ever encountered. Now, the first letter is nice. The second letter, that's a scholarship letter. So your goal is to make faculty want to write letters like the second letter for you.